far corner of Triangle Alley, below the whooshing sound of a sparkling TR-3B, at the edge of a dark forest where lumbering beasts dwell. It's Beyond the Beyond with Tanner Rush.
Beyond the Beyond. Alien beings captured on camera. There is so much information out there that it seems like a soup that Grandma has emptied her entire fridge into. It's tough to decide what to give our attention to because as soon as we do, the news cycle is on to the next big thing. Ukraine and Russia went to war, which was all anyone could talk about until Hamas and Israel went to war. And then Diddy got popped for diddling, which was big news until Trump got shot in the ear, which people talked about for a little while until Biden dropped out of the race, which got everyone's attention until Kamala announced she was running. And then there were some school shootings and some fires, and Taylor Swift announced who she was backing, and everything just seemed to be moving a lot faster than it used to. Do you remember when the government announced that it was finally taking the UFO-UAP phenomenon seriously, and people hardly even noticed? I think that part of it is that everyone was on to whatever was next. But the other part is that the world has gone so seriously bananas that the prospect of alien life visiting us, perhaps the biggest thing to happen in the history of all of mankind, is just some blip on the radar. Perhaps it's time to buy a piece of land, dig a well, get some solar, stock up, and just kind of slow life down a little while the rest of the world keeps going to hell. Or perhaps it's time to look at some alien videos that may have gotten lost in the shuffle. Maybe both. There is some footage that came from Quebec, Canada, and is supposedly from 1992. It shows an EBE, or extraterrestrial biological entity, and is thought to have been originally found on the dark web. As the story goes, 3 snowmobilers found the creature deep in the woods while riding their snowmobiles. They did not touch the body for fear of contaminating themselves. They hoisted it up with tape and sticks, and then left the body, but not before videotaping it. When they returned several hours later, it was gone. The footage appears to have been a recording of still frames on a television with another camera, and the authenticity is still in question. In 2011, another strange video began making the rounds on the internet. YouTuber Ivan 0135 published the video, which showed a strange creature not too unlike the one featured above, supposedly being interviewed at some secret location. The creature resembles what is commonly known as an alien gray, but where precisely this footage came from is for now unknown. This video became known as the Skinny Bob video. In the description from the original video, the creature was said to have hailed from the Zeta Reticuli star system. Interestingly, this is the same system where the aliens supposedly told Betty and Barney Hill that they were from. These beings were said to have been escorted by military personnel and only met with high-ranking officers, and there were many interviews conducted from the 1940s until the 1960s, with only a few of them being leaked. There was also a treaty involved, but when the Greys discovered they were being secretly recorded, that treaty was revised, but to what end, we do not know. Is it clever CGI? Some kind of elaborate puppet or costume, or the genuine article? You decide. Personally, the footage looks better when viewed at 1.5x speed. An alien interview video that made the rounds in the mid-1990s was supposedly smuggled out of Area 51 by a man named Victor. In the video, we see a typical alien gray who Victor says had its craft shot down in 1989.
What we're seeing.
Alright, we're looking at the interview suite at S4. It's kept dark for the comfort of the aliens. The figure who is just barely visible in the left foreground is the telepath, and behind the camera is a raked seating area for observers. Although in this case, I believe the only other person present was a military aide. The alien is seated behind a glass partition in a biocontainment area, which is maintained at Biosafety Level 2, the lowest designation. That's primarily for the protection of the aliens, not us. The theory is that if they were going to infect us with an alien bug, it would have happened 50 years ago. In fact, all the indications are the aliens eliminated microbial and viral life from their own ecosystem long ago. They aren't susceptible to our diseases directly, but it has been shown that microbes can reproduce and form colonies within their respiratory systems, which tends to exacerbate the debilities they seem to suffer anyway in our environment. In fact, you can see here the alien is beginning to flag. The interview was not going well. The telepath was trying to clarify some points from a previous interview, but he wasn't receiving coherent responses. As you can see, the being is in real distress. At this point, the telepath is sending out a message to the medical staff. He's trying to communicate with the alien, but he's getting no response. There's very little he can do. There's no direct connection between his space and the biocontainment area. That's the aide stepping in on the right. The medical staff should be there by now. They're slow in responding. There they are. I have to say the medical personnel at S4 are less than first rate. They tend to be selected for their willingness to keep secrets rather than their medical competence. By the way, he's not shining that light into the eyes. It looks that way, but in fact he's checking for hemorrhaging around the eye sockets and in the nasal cavity. I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to watch this.
The being in this video is interviewed by a telepath who is getting incoherent answers while trying to exchange information. About halfway through the video, the alien appears to be having some type of medical episode. Staff is brought in to deal with the situation, and the video ends. The letters D and I are burned into the bottom part of the screen, which could stand for the Department of Naval Intelligence. I noticed while searching for these videos today, it seemed to be harder to locate them than in previous attempts. There was even a photo I saw years ago of a supposed human-looking alien 10 feet tall and towering over trees that I cannot find at all. Are these videos and photos being scrubbed from the internet or just buried in the sea of information that is out there? What do you think of these 3 videos, fakes or authentic footage? And if they are authentic, why would I be able to find them at all? Maybe there is some bigger game being played here, or maybe it's just hoaxers at play. Have you had an encounter? Message me at Beyond the Beyond 1 on Instagram.